All right. Well, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants event. My name is Joe Grabowski, and I'll be your host for today. So exciting to see so many groups starting to join us live via YouTube for today's virtual field trip. Normally, we'd be broadcasting live into classrooms across North America and beyond. So it's really exciting that through technology, we can still run all of these events, but beam them directly into the homes of parents, educators, and students from across North America. All right, before we introduce today's event, I want to talk about a couple things that we're doing a little bit different. We're using Slido in today's event. So if you look in the chat sidebar on the right, you can use that chat bar to introduce yourselves, to send us in some questions, but you can also follow the Slido link and then use the event code sloth, and that will bring you into a spot where you can put in some questions, you can upvote other people's questions, and then we're going to have a little quiz after the event today. You can take part in the quiz live and we can see who the champion is, who knows the most about sloths, who's taking part today. All right, well, we are heading to Costa Rica to the Toucan Rescue Ranch. They have focused on care, rehabilitation, and release of national wildlife since 2004. The Toucan Rescue Ranch provides sanctuary while giving treatment, rehabilitation, and when possible, releasing the animals to their natural environment. They specialize in toucans, sloths, and owls. However, at any given time, can have a large array of wildlife from weasels to porcupines, cats, kinkajous, parrots, and more. We are so excited to have Maria joining us live today from the Toucan Rescue Ranch. You can already see some of her friends just hanging around. Maria, it's so awesome to have you joining us live today on what looks like another beautiful day.
Hello, thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome to the Toucan Rescue Ranch. So, as you said before, we are a rescue center. So, all the animals that we have here were rescued from different circumstances. Uh, so, we are called Toucan Rescue Ranch because actually we were the first center in Costa Rica to actually start rescuing toucans. And originally, our plan was to focus on birds. However, in 2007, we received our first baby sloth, Millie, and that changed everything. So, right here, we have some of our baby sloths. As you can see, they are pretty active right now. They are all orphans, so they lost their moms due to different circumstances. Unfortunately, the most common one is electrocutions because our power lines are not covered here, and also because of car accidents. All the sloths that we have here are not siblings because sloths, the sloth mom will only have one at a time and one every 3 years. So they're all babies, but they're not related. Uh, so sloths are the slowest mammals in the world. Uh, and over here we have our two-finger sloths. In the world, they are six species, and they are classified in two-toed sloths and three-toed sloths. However, that name is actually a misnomer because all sloths have three toes, and the difference is actually on their fingers. So right here we have the two-finger sloth. They should be called like that. In Costa Rica, we have two species: the two-finger sloths, these ones, and the three-finger sloths, which unfortunately we don't have them right here today because they're getting uh, their breakfast in the clinic right now. There are a lot of difference between the two species. First of all, the three-finger sloth are actually, well, the ones that are more recognized around the world. They have dark markings in their eyes that look like they're wearing a mask. And also, they are recognized because they appeared in this movie Zootopia. So you probably recognize them from there. The two-finger sloths are actually these guys who have a very long snout and they look like they have a piggy nose. Another difference between these two species is on their diets and on their habits. So the three-finger sloths, actually they are diurnal, so that means that they're active during the day, and they are strict vegetarians. So they only eat leaves. And these guys over here, they are nocturnal. So that means that they should be active during the night. However, as you can see, they're very active right now. The fact that they're nocturnal doesn't prevent them from being plain during the day because their activity periods go by waves. So they can be active for a little time during the morning and then they sleep again and they become active again. So they go by waves. Also, this species is omnivorous. So right now you're seeing them eating some flowers. They can eat leaves, flowers, eggs, lizards, and even they can eat some insects. Very slow insects that are passing by the branches. They can grab them and eat them as well. And the difference on their diet of these two species is very important because that will say how much energy they have. So the three-finger sloths that only eat leaves, they would be much slower than this species. And because of the fact that the two-finger sloths, they can eat many different things, they have more energy, and that makes them even faster than their cousins, the three-finger sloths. Sloths are actually related to anteaters and armadillos. So people usually say that they look like bears, but they are more related to armadillos and anteaters. Also, there are boreal mammals, so you can see they have all kinds of adaptations to be hanging in the branches. For example, this little guy is hanging from just his legs right now. They have very long claws that they can use to grab the branches, and they have a lot of strength in each one of their extremities. Also, their fur is very good for camouflage. Sloths have a lot of predators, for example, owls, falcons, hawks, even like ocelots and jaguars. So they rely on camouflage to keep surviving. And that camouflage is also provided by their fur. They these guys you can't see them because they're still living in captivity right now, but they will be released very soon. However, in the wild, they grow a green algae in their fur, and that algae will cover them, and it will make them look like moss. So that will help them to prevent being predated by other animals. They also have a lot of symbiotic relationships, for example, with moths, with beetles, with this algae that I just mentioned. So they are mostly like a living ecosystem, like a small forest walking around the branches of the trees. These cute animals are also like, they're threatened by different kinds of things. For example, here in Costa Rica, we have like, car accidents, electrocutions. We also have deforestation, so which affects them a lot. If sloths lose their trees, then they don't have anywhere to live, and that will make them more vulnerable because they will need to crawl in the cities. Also, the pet trade is affecting them a lot. People think that they're very cute and that they could make good pets, but actually they're quite aggressive. They're quite aggressive between themselves, like with other sloths. For example, they can steal food from each other. Also, they're aggressive towards humans and towards other animals as well. They have very long um, claws and they have very sharp teeth that look like stapler removers. And well, this species is actually more aggressive than the three-finger sloth. The three-finger sloth is more calm, but is also more vulnerable and more fragile. So that's why we don't take them to exercise as much as these guys because they need to be in constant care at the clinic. Right here, you can see us feeding them with some of the sloth chocolate that we call the flowers. They love eating hibiscus flowers. So that's why we give them a little bit of a treat. Also, you can see that sloths rely mostly on their smell. Uh, they have very poor eyesight and also like poor hearing. So they will rely on smell to find their food and to find other species. However, these are solitary animals. So they don't have like a very complex mechanism of communication between them. Once that they grow and they separate from the mother, they will never see another sloth for a period of time unless they decide to breed. So yeah, the only time that you will see two sloths together is when the mom is with the baby, and that will last about 2 years. Over here, we can see some of the adaptations of sloths to for the rainforest and to be hanging in the branches. For example, that hair puff that they have in their backs, that is to create a water funnel. So when it starts raining in the rainforest, the rain will just kind of funnel off and fall from their bellies to their backs. So they don't get as wet as they should when they're living in the rainforest. Also because their fur is very thick. Okay, now we can see them also eating some of the leaves that we have here. This one is Susa over here. And we also have Grumpy and Louie. Also, if you can see, these sloths actually have very long ears. Uh, they are covered by their fur sometimes, but when their fur moves around, we can see the ear over there that is hidden. This is different from the three-finger sloth because the three-finger sloth, they would only have like a very small ear and it's not as massive as this one. Sloths are actually also very slow because they have slow digestion, slow metabolism, slow movements. So the food that you see them eating right now, it will take it will take them 1 month to be digested. And only after the food is totally digested, they will climb down the tree. That's the only circumstance in which sloths will climb down the tree and go to the bathroom. They almost never climb down the branches because it's very dangerous for them down in the ground. As I told you, they have many predators, so they prefer to hold all their food inside and only climb down once every week. That's why they have very large bellies. So most of the space that you see in the sloth will be their bellies. They're just like very large bags which accumulate all their food. And also they have a lot of bacteria, symbiotic bacteria that helps them digest the tannins and the alkaloids that leaves contain. They also have a lot of bacteria in their mouths, in their teeth. So that will help them also to start digesting the leaves from since the moment that they enter their mouths.
All right, Maria, are you ready to take some questions?
Yeah, sure.
All right, excellent. Well, first of all, thank you so much for telling us so much about the sloths. It's really cool to watch them eating and doing their thing. And it was neat to watch those two kind of fighting over that hibiscus flower. Both of them wanted that little treat. All right.
Yeah.
So those tuning in to YouTube, a couple quick reminders. In a few minutes, we're going to have a quiz via Slido. So if you scan up in the chat sidebar, you can find the link to Slido. In fact, I'm going to post it one more time down at the bottom. If you head there and use event code SLOTH, you can join in. There's a poll question up right now, and then we're going to have a timed quiz and see who the champion is, who knows the most about sloths tuning in right now. So we'll do that in maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We'll do the live quiz part. For now, if you want to send questions in either via Slido or you can use the YouTube chat sidebar. And we're going to start off with a question from Ang. And Ang is wondering, how long can the sloths live in the wild? How long do they usually live for?
Well, it will depend on the species. This species, the two-finger sloth, they can live up to 30 years in the wild and up to 40 years in captivity. However, the three-finger sloths, they are more fragile and vulnerable, so they can live up to 20, 25 years in the wild. And we don't have any records that they can be kept in captivity.
All right. Another thing, a few of the students who are joining us online are talking about things they've learned about sloths. So they must have done a little bit of research before today's call. And a few of them are talking about their eyesight. Is it true that sloths have poor eyesight?
They can see colors, however, they don't see very acute shapes. So they can see a little bit of colors, but it looks a little bit blurry. So their vision it's not very acute, it's not very good. They still have uh, good vision, I would say, but it's not very developed.
Okay. We've got a question coming in via Slido. This one's from Pam, and they're watching the sloths kind of practice and moving around, and they're wondering if kind of the wires and the clothespins, do you worry that they might confuse those? It might encourage them to climb power lines when they're released?
Oh, these lines?
Yeah.
Well, actually, power lines look very different from this. They are like a lot of cables put together. Most of the time we have this security to hang the hangers with food. Um, but yeah, actually, that's a very good question. I wouldn't say that it will encourage them because they look very different, but that's actually something that we could consider. Thank you very much for that question.
Yeah. And I would think too, if they're back in the wild, most power lines are probably running along roads and hopefully not running through the trees. So um,
Yes,
hopefully they wouldn't come into contact uh, with that under normal circumstances.
yes.
All right. Excellent. Let's jump into another question. So you talked about that they all have three toes on their feet, but the one species has the two fingers and the other has the three. What are some other physical differences between the two species of sloth that you have right now?
Uh, well, they're so different that they even have like different ancestors. So they don't even have like a common ancestors. So another difference that you can see right now is that this species has padded hands and also in their toes. They have a small region in which they don't have hair. However, the three-finger sloth, they have hair all the way to the claws. Also, well, these guys actually have fewer vertebrae. They only have five vertebrae, so they can't move their heads a lot. The three finger species, they have nine vertebrae, so they can turn their head almost 180 degrees. They almost look like owls. So that's also another difference. Besides from the fact that, well, as I mentioned, the other one has some like black spots in the corner of their eyes that gives the impression that they're wearing a mask. And this guy looks a little bit more like a piggy, like yeah, like a pig.
All right. So Matthew and Jolie are both wondering about predators. What are some predators in the wild of sloths?
That's a very good question. So we have records that ocelots, jaguars can eat them, as well as falcons and hogs and big owls. They can hunt them. They're not very appealing to predators because they're just like a big uh, bag of fur and bones. They don't have a lot of muscles, so they're not very appealing, but they do have a lot of predators.
All right. Good to know. Sloths maybe aren't that tasty. So much bones and so much fur.
Yes.
All right. So a few are wondering about um, Sam in particular, about how tall or how long can they get?
How long they can get? I think they can get up to 60 centimeters, and
Yep.
they can weigh up to 14 pounds.
Uh, Sorry, Maria, was that 14 or 40?
14.
14. Very cool.
Yes.
So how long during the day do you kind of let them exercise and climb around in the trees like this?
So in the morning, definitely it's the best time for them to exercise because, well, we need to do potty training with them. So in the morning is the time where they just potty and they are ready to eat more and exercise more. So they're very active. At midday during lunch, they're all sleepy. They don't want to move at all. So it's not a very good time to exercise. And then at 5 p.m., they start to become very active again and that will last all night long.
All right. So Brian would like to know if a sloth was in trouble, maybe a predator, how would it defend itself?
Oh, they can slash with their very long claws, and they can even start hissing at the predator, and they show their teeth, and they try to bite the animal that is attacking them. Sometimes when they climb down the tree to go to the bathroom, they get attacked by dogs or by cats or things like that. But also the dog, he can get very injured by the sloth because of well, when they feel threatened, they become very aggressive and they start to do these very fast movements to try to attack you with their claws, their teeth. They can even attack you with their legs because they're very flexible. So it's like an octopus with very long claws.
Very cool. Great description. Caleb is wondering about where we can find sloths. So we know we can find them in Costa Rica. What other countries can we find sloths in?
Oh, that's a very good question. So slots, their distribution goes all the way from Honduras in Central America to South America. You can even find them in Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, all these countries in the rainforest, and also in mangroves.
All right, very cool. And that brings up a really good point that being found in mangroves, that sloths have a little bit of swimming ability.
Yes, they are very good swimmers. They have like this well, as I told you, this very big belly that is full of, well, accumulated poo and urine, so that will um, be used as a life saver like a life buoy, and it will help them to float.
All right, we've got another question coming in here about um, baby sloth. So when a mother gives birth, is it always just one or can they have two sometimes?
Sometimes they can have twins. This occurs very rarely, so most of the time they only have one at a time. However, if the mom has two babies, she will usually just prefer one of them, the strongest one, and she will neglect the other one. So she only keeps one, and only one will survive.
Okay. So Bernadine is wondering about going to the bathroom once every 7 days. How is their body adapted to doing that? Why is that a good strategy?
That's a very good question. And apparently, it's a very good strategy because we can see them in different animals. For example, the two sloths that were originated from different ancestors, they got adapted to the same strategies, going to the bathroom only once a week. That's because since they are living in the safety of the branches in the tree canopy, they don't want to tell the predators that there's a safe spot there. So they will climb down the tree and poo in the ground and then climb back up to their safety just to prevent predators. And they are adapted to do this because of their very large stomachs that, well, it helps them digest the food better and for a longer time, but it also helps them to accumulate a lot of the urine and the food that they start digesting. And an adult sloth, they can urinate up to 2 liters of urine during a week. So they can hold a lot of material in there.
All right. So Maria, I am going to start the quiz now on Slido. So anybody who's joined in on Slido, if you head over to your Slido page and then join the quiz, I'm going to open it now. We did have a poll open a few moments ago asking how cool people thought sloths were on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, and over 90% said they were 5 stars, that sloths are awesome. So that's pretty cool. The quiz is open now. If you want to start joining in, I'll give you a few seconds to do that. I see Caleb's already joined in, Pam's in, Hudson and Mason are in the quiz. So I'll give another few seconds. Oh, lots of names coming in here. While the names come in, we'll take one more question from the YouTube chat sidebar before we start the quiz. Let's see. All right. So Ashley's wondering about the number of species of sloths. I know we talked about 2 sloths that you have at the ranch at varying times, but how many species are there in total?
Very good question. In total, there are 6 species around the world of sloths.
All right, perfect. So one more reminder, if you go to the Slido website, you can find the link to that higher up in the chat. Use the code SLOTH, meeting code or event code SLOTH. I put the link one more time and we are going to start. We've got a nice group here joined in and ready for the quiz. So the rules of the quiz, there's gonna be 4 questions, multiple choice. You have 20 seconds for each question, but don't take your time. The quicker you answer the question, the higher your points will be. So let's get things rolling and start this quiz. All right, first question's up. How long do sloths sleep during the day? So your choices are 5 hours, 10 hours, up to 20, or 8 hours a day. What do you think? The quicker you answer, the quicker the points that you will get. So we're down to our last 5 seconds. Lots of guesses, lots of answers coming in. All right, that first question has closed. And Maria, 57% got the right answer, that sloths can sleep up to 20 hours a day. Awesome work. Good start to the quiz. Let's slide over to our next question. I'm going to open it up now. The next question is, how long can it take for a sloth to digest a single meal? Is it a week? Is it 6 hours? Is it up to a month? Or is it 10 minutes? Let's see how we do. All right, lots of answers coming in. So far, Maria, it looks like we have some sharp sloth experts at home. 58% went for the answer of up to a month to digest a meal. Really cool. Good work to those at home.
Great.
All right, sliding on to our next question. How many times does a sloth poo during the week? So Maria talked about this during the event. Everybody should get it. Is it 8 times? Is it once? Is it 15 times? Or is it 3 times a week? Who was paying attention? All right, last 5 seconds. All right, Maria, they were riveted. They were listening to your talk because 93% went with they only poo once a week. And wrapping it up, one more question before we see who our leader is. How much faster are sloths swimming than walking? So we talked about their swimming. Do you think they're 3 times faster when they swim? Do you think they swim the same as they walk or crawl through the trees? Are they twice as fast? Or do they sink like a rock? All right, couple more seconds. All right, 52%, half went with that they swim 3 times faster than they kind of walk or crawl through the trees. So good work to everybody tuning in on all 4 questions. The majority went with the right answers. Very cool. 16% picked sink like a rock. So I don't know if they were listening to Maria's last answer. All right, and let's go to our leaderboard. Let's see what we got here. Joshua is the winner, 4 out of 4 points, and he did it in 38 seconds. Second place, we've got Nancy. She got 4 out of 4 as well, and she did it in 41 seconds. And our third place finisher was Stella. Stella answered all 4, and she did it in 42 seconds. So good work. Thanks, everybody, for taking part in the live quiz today. All right. I am going to jump back over, and let's grab another couple questions before we wrap up today's event. So let's see who's got a good question. Um, okay. Okay. So we got a question here coming in about their teeth. So, Maria, can you tell us a little bit about how many teeth they have and if they're specialized for what they eat?
Hmm. That's a very interesting and very good question as well. So I would say that sloths have around 10 teeth in their upper jaw and about 8 teeth in their lower jaw. It is actually specialized to their diet. Yes, because since I told you the three finger sloths, they only eat leaves, so they only have chewing teeth. However, this species, the two finger sloths, because of the fact that they are omnivorous, they have chewing teeth, but they also have very long fangs. So the four fangs will help them to eat lizards if they need to, also fruits or eggs to break the eggs. So it is specialized to their diet.
All right. Let's grab another question here. Let's see if there's another Slido question that we can grab. Okay, so Caleb wants to know, at what age do sloths leave their mothers?
Oh, that's very interesting. So they will start leaving their mothers about 2 years. So they spend 2 years with their mom after they are born, and after 2 years they are fully developed and they have learned all the three species that they can eat in the wild and what kind of food they can also eat. So about that period of time they're already ready to go and find their own way.
All right. Uh, let's see here. Let's grab one more question from the Slido, then I have another poll I'm going to put up. This one is a person is wondering about how often they drink. Do they drink water or can they get enough from the food that they eat from the leaves?
Oh, that's amazing. Actually, they don't drink water. Not a sloth knows how to drink any kind of liquid or either water or milk. With the milk, what they do is they kind of lick small droplets. And for the water, what they do is that they pick the most succulent leaves, the ones that contain most water, and they eat those leaves. And inside of their bodies, they will extract the water from the leaves and that's how they get hydrated, but they don't know how to drink water.
All right, very cool. So they can get lots of moisture from the food that they eat, the leaves that they're eating. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I open up one more poll for today in the Slido room, and this is a word cloud. So I want you to think of one word that came to your mind when you were taking part in today's event, when you were looking at the sloths, when you were learning about them. What's one word that you can use tuning in at home to kind of sum up how you thought today's event was? So that's open right now. I can see a few of them are starting to come in. Cute, interesting. Someone used the word sloth. Yes, we definitely saw lots of sloths today, which was pretty cool. While the words come in, Maria, can you tell me a little bit about some of the other animals that are at the rescue right now?
Oh, we have kinkajous, we have a tyra, we have a river otter, an ocelot, oncilla, spectacle owls, well, all kinds of owls and raptors. We also have parakeets and macaws. So yeah, we actually have a lot of different species here.
And then can you tell us a little bit about, this came up in our last call. A lot of students weren't familiar with kinkajous. Can you tell us a little bit about kinkajous?
Oh, well, yeah, kinkajous, I would say that they are quite neotropical. There are small mammals, also arboreal mammals, so they have a prehensile tail that helps them to hang in the branches. So sometimes you can see them hanging from their tail, just like a monkey. Uh, Here in Costa Rica, we call them the honey bear because they love to eat honey and flowers and fruits as well, very sugary fruits. They are incredibly important pollinators for our forests, and they are actually considered carnivores because of their teeth. but they are not carnivores. They do not eat meat. They only eat nectar and, well, pollen and fruits and flowers.
All right,
And
awesome.
they're also nocturnal. Sorry, I forgot
Oh
to
no,
mention.
that's awesome. Very cool. Kind of similar to our raccoons that we might see here in North America in some ways.
Yeah, they're actually from the same family as the raccoon.
All right. So the number one words that we have coming in from our audience at home are cute, amazing, awesome, sloth-tastic. So they're making up some more. Sloth-tastic came in a few times. Sloth-tastic and slotherific. Cool, interesting. So Maria, I think everybody really enjoyed taking part in today's live event. Let's squeeze in one or two more questions before we sign off from our field trip to Costa Rica today. Uh, let's see. Let's take one from YouTube this time. I took a few from Slido already. Okay, here we go. Can you tell us a little bit about how the ranch got started, the Toucan Rescue Ranch?
Yeah, so it started because, well, Leslie Howe, our founder, well, she was in love with birds and she wanted to create a place where she could rescue birds. Originally, as I told you, she planned for only rescuing macaws, toucans, and other birds like owls. But then, with an unexpected event, like the arrival of Millie, the baby sloth, she would start also to accept many other different species. So that's how spider monkeys started to arrive, and kinkajous, otters, tyras, all kinds of different animals started to come as well. And now we are a multi-species rescue facility here in Costa Rica. And that all started in 2004, where when Leslie decided to turn her home into the rescue center.
All right. Awesome. So I've just shared one more link in the YouTube chat. It's important to share that the amazing work that the Toucan Rescue Ranch does, it all comes from donations and of course from people coming to visit the center for tours. With what we're experiencing right now with the coronavirus, obviously those tours aren't coming through. So I just shared the link. If you enjoyed today's event, if you want to do something to help out and make sure that the Toucan Rescue Ranch can keep doing the awesome work they're doing over the next few weeks and months, consider making a small donation to the Toucan Rescue Ranch. I know they'd be very appreciative, and I know that our friends who joined us today hanging out in the trees would appreciate that as well. So I shared that link. And one more link to share. This link will take you to our website, to Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. And on this page, you can find a whole listing of all the events we have coming up. These events will be coming up probably 40 or more over the next 2 weeks. And we're just going to keep running these events for parents, students, and educators who are at home. Maria, a huge thank you. Thank you so much for taking some time to teach us about sloths, answer our questions, and obviously, most of all, show us these amazing Costa Rican wildlife, these amazing mammals.
Thank you for having me. It's been, well, sloth-tastic.
Excellent. That's the word of the day. Perfect word to end off on. Thank you so much to everybody tuning in on YouTube. Thank you for playing the quizzes in Slido. Thanks for sending in awesome questions. And we look forward to see you all in another event. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.